Good morning from Boisfort. It's Saturday, October 26th, and I have a gig this evening. I mean, I've had one paid gig in Belgium that did not go all that well because the person who hired me to play tried to pay me half of what we agreed on and told me never to come back. And I played like outside in November in the freezing cold for like 3.5 hours for the people who came out to smoke, and also for some very dear friends who were very brave and supportive and came to listen to me play, which totally like made my year. Anyway, so but I have had the good fortune of playing in some really amazing places here. I played for the Brussels Folk Club to open for some of their main stage performers, and I have played at poetry open mics and to open for an improv group that performs at the Sister Cafe off of Grand Place. So I feel really blessed to have had these opportunities, and I get super nervous before each one because I'm always afraid that, you know, people won't like me. I seem to have a fear of that, even though people tend to like me. Not all people, I can tell you, there are people in my life who do not appreciate the Marieke tornado of energy that is me. But sadly, the Brussels Folk Club lost access to their venue, which was this really rad bar called the Black Door, La Porte Noire, that was in this kind of underground old root cellar. And so they have not been able to carry on. I missed their very last event that was at one of their homes because I was sick that day and I had to cancel last minute, which was sad because I really just loved them. And I'd never heard of folk clubs before. So folk clubs, I think, are something maybe that, I don't know if it began in the UK, but this seemed to have a very British influence. And it's like where people go specifically to listen to folk music, which is amazing because I write folk music, so the explanation of the story behind the song is important and the words are important. So it's really nice to be in a space where people are there actively wanting to hear those stories and words and even sing along. I'm nervous tonight, because I was told about this kind of performance venue that's ongoing and has, you know, musicians come and play. I don't know that much about it, but I was told about them by one of the folks that runs the Brussels Folk Club. So I contacted them and mentioned that I played at the Brussels Folk Club, and they were like, oh, you know, like here's some dates, and maybe you'd like to maybe you can play at some of them. And then I was invited to play at this one Saturday night. So then I don't know if I was just kind of trying to find out a little bit more about the venue and like the type of music that they have. But I wound up finding out from the guy that runs it that it's a pretty conservative audience and that they care less about the words to songs than the musicality. So instantly I was like, oh, like I'm a folk musician, words are what I have, you know? And then I started thinking, okay, like maybe I have musicality. I mean, I don't know what musicality means for you. My thought was it meant being able to play like crazy fast riffs and solo and play the way that I can play on a piano, but that I don't, you know, really practice on the ukulele. I mostly strum and do some finger picking, but it's nothing fancy. But maybe musicality, and feel free to chime in here with a comment on what musicality means to you. But maybe it also is like your presence and your expression and interpretation of the music. If that's the case, you know, fingers crossed. Hopefully they like me. Hopefully, you know, they don't like throw anything at me. And if they do, then, you know, it'll be a good story, right? And it's at a bar, so there's alcohol. So at least I can sort of like dull the pain with whiskey and wine. But, you know, it occurred to me this morning as I was practicing that when I practice and I'm just playing myself, it's not the same experience as playing for, you know, a group of people. And I did a live video yesterday to talk about one of the songs that we wrote this past August at the Refugee Center. And even though I'd practiced it a lot, I made mistakes. I think because, you know, I knew that I could see that people were watching. So I thought, hey, what if while I'm practicing, I create a live video and maybe it looks like some folks have joined. Thanks, friend. So I'm going to serenade you, and you can throw things at your screen, but you'll only be hurting your own piece of technology. The magic of social media. So I'm going to start with a song that I wrote many years ago when I was living in between Alaska and eventually Massachusetts, and in a real space of limbo. I was spending a few months in Arizona and kind of trying to figure out what was next in my life. It was a time when my mommy hormones, biological clock hormones, were like raging. So I was like super wanting to like have a baby, which added some interesting energy to the mix. So so I'm gonna try to play that. And sorry. My husband is traveling and he's having, and like, even though I put a travel note, his Visa card's not working. Oh, the fun of modern technology. So anyway, I was actually driving with the man who's now my husband and who had 2 children and was like, hell no, I'm not having any more children. I think we got an argument about like, fertility and babies. But I think I've had this experience that really great art comes from a place of suffering and pain, and people seem to really enjoy this song, so it's a good thing that we had that argument, and I cried a lot because now I have this song. It's called Nowhere is Home. So here we go. Pillow and a blanket on the passenger seat. I can't hold my head up. All I wanna do is run away. Where would I go? Nowhere is home. The road is dry and dusty, and I can't find the ocean. All I wanna do is run away. Where would I go? Nowhere is home. I don't need much, just a little something to hold. I don't need much, just a little something to love. I wouldn't feel so empty if I had a little baby. All I wanna do is run away. Where would I go? Nowhere is home. I don't need much, just a little something to hold. I don't need much, just a little something to love. I wouldn't feel so empty if I had a little baby. All I wanna do is run away. All I wanna do is run away. Where would I go? Nowhere is home. Where would I go? Nowhere is home. Ooh. All right, so let's see. So I had one little snafu. That is not G minor. That is. But I can't remember if it was when I was playing. I grew up playing classical piano with first a really scary Russian teacher and then a much more forgiving American teacher. But I don't know if I was given this advice or it just somehow happened. It's like, if you make a mistake, just keep going. Don't you can own it. You can you can laugh, or you can just like not even like call attention to it. And often in a bar setting, especially where there's lots of background noise and people aren't necessarily there listening specifically to your lyrics, which I've been told may be the case this evening. It should be okay. So fingers crossed. So the next song that I plan to play is called The Pigeon Song. And it's one that I wrote with my co-volunteer Sarah at the refugee center where we volunteer on Monday afternoons. And we spend a lot of time with the pigeons because we're outside, we're in a covered corridor off of the main courtyard, and the weather in Brussels is not always as lovely as it is today. And so sometimes people aren't outside except for, these two wacky ladies with big hair and big glasses hanging out with the pigeons. And also because I just have this deep love for pigeons. I had a rescued racing pigeon for a while. I didn't even know racing pigeons was a thing, but I found out more than I ever thought I would about it until a friend's dog brought my pigeon's life to an untimely, sad end. But he had a good time. I think he hung out with my chickens. It was when I was living in Washington State many moons ago. It feels like many lives ago. I feel like I've lived many lives in one. Here I am in Belgium. Well, anyway, I don't know. Pigeons have this really bad rap. I think people call them rats with wings. I remember seeing a guy on a plane with a t-shirt that said kill all pigeons, and I was sort of scandalized. I was like, what? And he was like, I just don't like pigeons. And I was like, okay, but do you have to kill all of them? Why? I mean, and I don't know if it's because I don't know, I have these deep reflections and dialogues with people about how they could be a metaphor for, the elements of life that we'd rather not think about existing, and it's in your face. Here are these beings that are struggling, and they're dirty, they eat gross things because they're just trying to survive. They're hobbling around because they lose their toes, and they get plastic stuff wrapped around their feet, and so their feet blow up and then fall off, and somehow they survive. And maybe it reminds us of, I don't know, the human elements of society that either make us feel badly that we're not struggling or maybe not helping a lot. Kind of hard to say, but they're a species that's sort of on the outside, on the periphery of society. And I guess the underdogs, which I have a tendency to want to really love and support. So those in need, I open my heart to in a big way. So this is called The Pigeon Song. And I guess it kind of has a little bit of a Buddhist slant to it, or, take from it what you will. Maybe it'll speak to you. I am a bird with a broken wing, but I'm still learning how to sing. Nobody likes me, nobody loves me, but still I sing every day. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. I woke up this morning and I could not hear my song, but somehow I found a way to carry on. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. When my song is hard to find, will you share your song with me? If we sing together, we create harmony. All I have is this moment. All I have is this time. We are not so different, you and I. Let us share this moment. Let us share this time. We are not so different, you and I. Yahoo! Jazz hands for the pigeon song. And now it's interesting doing this live video because I have 20 minutes to play. So, I have this like set lit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs, thinking, okay, maybe I'll play 4 and then I have like 2 backup. And also, I often, when I'm playing in a space and I don't really know what the audience is going to be like in advance, I try to, the interpretive park ranger in me tries to kind of get a sense of the audience and how they're responding, what their energy is, what kind of music they seem to like, if they like, blues more than kind of general folk, and and then I might change up my list, kind of as it's happening. But I had to send in a set list in advance because they have so their version of like copyright here is called Sabam, S-A-B-A-M, and so even though a lot of these songs are my originals, they needed a list in advance. So it's like, oh my God, what do I do? So I tried to pick a very varied list of songs, some of my own, some by other people, but I only have 20 minutes, so it's looking like, depending on how much I talk, which tends to be a lot, again, recovering interpretive park ranger, and also I talk when I'm nervous, so there you go. I may only have time for 3, but I am going to I am going to sing at least one more song. And so let's see. So I had one from the public domain. I was trying to think about like musicality and okay, what song can I really like wail on and maybe at least use my voice and see if that like speaks to people maybe more than my just strumming. I don't know. So I was going to sing the song Wade in the Water, which I love, and I've loved since I was a kid, and my mom used to take me to Alvin Ailey dance performances. Alvin Ailey was the first, really, when it began, it was an all black dance troupe, and now there, it's maybe I know that, I mean, there are some white people, I don't know other ethnicities are represented in the troupe, but at the end of like every performance, there would always be this just dance set of like dances to gospel music, and that just super spoke to me. I loved, when I was little, I loved gospel music, and I would leave like singing all these songs, like "Did my Lord deliver Daniel," and apparently that was really funny to people. But I always loved the song "Wade in the Water" that they would do with these like blue silk scarves that they would, like, one person on either side of the stage would hold, and they would like do this thing so that the silk scarves would move like water and people would dance over them, and I just loved it. And then in my adult life, I discovered an artist named Judy Henske who does this amazing version of Wade in the Water with like dancers, and so that was really inspiring. So I try to like sort of channel my inner Judy Henske. singing this song. And now I'm at like 20 minutes already, so I'm going to sing this song anyway, even though I'm like overtime. And I will take that as a lesson to talk less this evening. But here we go. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. I said wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, look at those babies dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. They must have been the babies Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, Jesus met the woman, met her at the well. God's gonna trouble the water. He said, look out, lady, you're heading for hell. God's gonna trouble the water. I said, wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, when I get to heaven, sing and shout. God's gonna trouble the water. Nobody there, turn me out. God's gonna trouble the water. I said, wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. I said, God's gonna trouble the water. So, wade in the water. I mean, there's definitely, they're religious, stuff in there. We've got God, we've got like Jesus, and getting into heaven. And so I don't know if it's a conservative audience, if that will be offensive. But if I get the sense from the first two songs that people are like scandalized by my music, talking about my biological clock with the first song, Nowhere's Home, talking about my love of pigeons in the pigeon song for the second one, then I still have 3 other songs that I can play. And the next one I was thinking about is a shorter one, and it's called I Am a Word, that I wrote also with residents at Petit Chateau and with my co-volunteer Sarah. And it's one that I think started with a man from Syria, speaking in Arabic, talking about, if he could be a word, he would want to be this like word of hope and love. And, we translated his songs, I think, into French and then into English, and had a whole dialogue about sort of translation and, trying to honor the original meaning from Arabic, which is a very magical, I think, mystical language, as we moved through other languages, which, inevitably, it changes, but it's still a song that I really love quite a bit, and it's shorter. It doesn't have a specific chorus, but it has that kind of like I'm a word at the end, sort of like 8 days a week, I love you. Repeat at the end. So, and it's a swing rhythm, so it's a little different than other songs I've played. major key, so it's already different than, you know, 2 of the 3 songs I've played, because I'm really drawn to the minor key. It must be my like Jewish heritage of, you know, feeling drawn to suffering or something like that. I am a word of hope and love. I bring honor to the world. I will push the darkness away. Can I come to your house and stay? I am a word. I am the root of all resistance. I bring light for us to grow. I will push the sorrow away. Can I come to your heart and stay? I am a word. I am the life you've left behind, the path that you now follow, the melody of your song, the place you can belong. I am a word of hope and love. I bring honor to the world. I will push the darkness away. Can I come to your house and stay? I am a word. So short, sweet, hopeful, and in a major key, even though I did sneak in an A minor in there. But then you resolve up to a C, so everything is happy. But I mean, I have to say that, I mean, in the 3 years that I have been volunteering at Petit Chateau with people who have gone through some pretty harrowing experiences before leaving their home country, on their way to Belgium, and who still, even when they share some, you know, some pretty sad stories, they still share these themes in their, you know, written poems and stories and songs that we write that are really full of hope and like wishing for peace and understanding. Peace, love, and understanding. Oh, heart. So there's one, so Nowhere's Home, Pigeon Song, Wade in the Water, I'm a Word. We've got 4. So now I have 2 more that are possibilities for this evening's gig. And one is by Tom Waits. And the other is, it's at least a version that I learned from listening to Dave Van Ronk, but I think it might be one of those, you know, songs where like the origin is not totally known at this point, which I kind of love about these old folk songs. But well, the moon is broken and the sky is cracked. Come on up to the house. The only thing you can see is all that you like. Come on up to the house. Oh, your crying won't do you no good. Come on up to the house. Come down from the cross. We could use the wood. Come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home. I'm just passing through. Come on up to the house. There's no light in the tunnel, no iron in the fire. Come on up to the house, and you're singing lead soprano in a junkyard choir. Come on up to the house. Does life seem nasty, brutish, and short? Come on up to the house. The sea is stormy, you can't find no port. Come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. Come on up to the house. There's nothing in the world that you can do. Come on up to the house. And you've been whipped by the forces that are inside of you. Come on up to the house. Well, you're high on top of your mountain of woe. Come on up to the house. And you know you should surrender, but you can't let it go. Come on up to the house. You got to come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home, I'm just passing through. Come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. Voila. Tom Waits, Marieke version. Come on up to the house. Oh. There you go. There's my Tom Waits impression. I love that song because it's kind of like, again, in that sort of Buddhist yoga idea, it's just like surrender. Just, let everything go. Just come on up to the house. We are not in control. And it's, it's an intense song if you think about sort of the lyrics and the metaphor, meaning behind it, but it's in a major key, which is fun. So it's a little bit of everything. So then the last song that I was thinking about playing here, I'm at 32 minutes and I have 20 minutes, so I will hopefully get to play just at least 3 of the songs that I was thinking about, and will, of course, do my best to read the audience and try to make them happy. I try to make people happy, but people have to make themselves happy, right? So, Gambler's Blues. Back to a minor key. And my husband actually introduced me to this song. And like many, I was like, I can't play this song. And especially like there's, it's like the second or third verse, there's like all these words, and it took me forever just sort of like trying to sing it in my head to like get them all down. I think the whole song was challenging for me to learn, but it's one of my favorites. And again, because blues, I love songs that have that kind of like element of suffering in them. So here we go. Gambler's Blues, sometimes called St. James Infirmary. It was down at old Joe's bar on the corner of the square, and they were serving drinks as usual, and the usual crowd was there. On my left stood Big Joe McKennedy, and his eyes were bloodshot red. He turned to the crowd around him. These are the very words he said. I went down to St. James Infirmary. I met my baby there, stretched out on a long white table. So sweet, so cold, so fair. Well, let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search the wide world over, never find a sweet man like me. Now when I die, please bury me in my high-top Stetson hat. Put a gold watch on my wrist pocket, The gang all know I died standing pat. I want 6 crap shooters for pallbearers. Chorus girl, sing me a song. Put a jazz band on my hearse wagon to raise hell as I roll along. Well, let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search the wide world over. Never find a sweet man like me. Well, now that I've told my story, I think I'll take another shot of booze. And if anyone should happen to ask you, I've got those gambler's blues. Well, let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search the wide world over. Never find a sweet man like me. Never find a sweet man like me. Voila. So there's my practice. Thanks for listening. For tonight's gig at the Staging Post, I have a Facebook event up on my page in case you're interested. It's out in a part of Brussels that is new to me. Wezenbeek Appem, I think is called, and the street, the address is Beckstraat 172, Beekstraat 172. It's in this old farmhouse that's now a brewery. And so I'm nervous again because it's like a place that I've never been to, so I always get nervous about trying to find it, and and then nervous, will people like me? And well, if they don't, then it'll just be an experience, and in a few hours it will all be over. I'll be safe at home, and at least there's whiskey there, there's whiskey here, so it's all good. But anyway, I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks so much for listening. It's really fun playing for you and getting to practice in front of a live audience, if not live right in front of me, live somewhere. I appreciate seeing all of your little messages joining and hearts, and that was really lovely. You sure know how to make a nervous musician feel loved. So I hope wishing you a beautiful day wherever in the world you find yourself, and sending you some love from Bois4. Namaste. Bye for now.